Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. Wow, talk about sunrise this morning. I put the old visor in front of me, but I could hardly see coming up Mayville Hill. It was absolutely spectacular. That sun hitting on the snow, and it was just glowing. A little bit more snow up here in Mayville than over where I'm at over on the lakeshore, but kind of interesting winter, hasn't it been? You know, we have spring one day, we have fall the next day. By the afternoon, it's winter again. And it keeps repeating that cycle. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's been a pretty decent winter, and I suppose there's a lot of folks that are ready to get the warm sunshine again, but it's coming. So anyways, happy Saturday to all of you, and for those that are listening on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people, good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Happy to be with you. We have a great show in store for you. This organization that we're going to be talking about later on has never been represented on the show before, so this is all new territory for me to explore, so stick around. I think you're going to enjoy the show. A few things to chat about. Super Bowl Sunday. Does anybody care? Chicago Bears, we got Buffalo Bills. Who cares? We don't care. Oh gosh! So everybody's making their predictions, and so it's like I don't know how it is at your house, everyone, but at our household, anyways, except for we have one in-law who is a big fan, but it's like the New England Patriots, the team that everyone has loved to hate. So we'll see. It should be interesting. I think they're favored, but it's something to do. It's entertainment. That's why I keep trying reminding people. It's entertainment. It's not a religious experience. Don't go off of the deep end if your team doesn't win. It's just for fun. They're getting paid a lot of money, no matter what happens. I had a great experience this week I want to share with you. Many of you have been watching the show the last couple of weeks, and Randy Anderson's been on my show. First, when we were talking about dirt track racing. It's hard to remember how to put that in the order with the other guys. And then he came back on with the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame. I don't get over to Jamestown too often, but I made it a point this week to get down there and talk with him about a certain matter that we were discussing. And if you haven't been to the Hall of Fame, wow, it's really, really cool. And they got so much stuff in there. And, you know, we go to museums or we go to art galleries and we see stuff from around the world or someone's particular collection. But this is all Chautauqua County related sports memorabilia. And I'd say you probably could spend a good half hour in there, and it's very well exhibited and laid out there. So you don't get a chance down on Third and Main, sort of. So he says on the 50-yard line in Jamestown. Check it out. Many of you know I'm a musician, and I've been playing for the last 50 years all over the place in various counties and towns and states and so forth. And I thought I'd share something with you. This is the first time, Justin, we can do a close-up. I've been on posters, I've been on billboards, my name has been everywhere, but this is the first time I've ever been on a table topper. So Will and I are going to be at Meter's Restaurant. And so there's Will, and there's me. And for Valentine's Day, and I'm just mentioning this because I often tell people where we're playing. And the other side, of course, is Meter's, and they have a special menu. So I'm not promoting necessarily the restaurant. They are one of my underwriters. But I just thought I'd mention the fact that I made it to a table topper. My career is almost at its height. And but Meters is putting on a special Valentine's Day dinner, and they got a special menu, and we're going to be playing 5 to 8 there, and I'll mention it again next week. But I tell you this because in the wintertime, sometimes you think, well, what should we do? Should be a fun night. So come on out. It's a Wednesday night of all nights, so that'll be a little different for you. And there's other places that are having pancake dinners and special events and, you know, something to do. Okay. Let's see. A good friend of mine up in Canada, he's a fellow Rotarian, sent me this list of things called Things You Really Need to Know. And so I thought maybe I would do one of these once a week, once every show. So they're just funny little phrases that we use in everyday life that, well, I never knew where they came from. So listen to this. I'm just going to do this one, okay? It says here, did you know the saying, God willing and the creek don't rise? I've heard that phrase for years. Have you heard that before? Some people, it's older. Emerald, have you ever heard that? No? Okay, well, about a generation or two ago, that would be very typical. They'd say, I'll be there as long as God's willing and the creek don't rise. So I always thought it was, water. It's not. It was in reference to the Creek Indians and not a body of water. It was written by Benjamin Hawkins in the late 18th century. He was a politician and Indian diplomat. While in the South, Hawkins was requested by the President of the United States to return to Washington. In his response, he said, in his writing, he said, God willing, and the creek don't rise, because he capitalized the word creek as that it's deduced that he was referring to the Creek Indian tribe and not a body of water. So in other words, I'll be there unless, God has a different plan and the Indians don't get in the way. Never knew that. So I got a bunch of these. So Bob Morrill, thank you for that. Okay, I got a bunch of interesting real things here that we should talk about that are community related. So let's get right to it, and then we'll get to our guest that's waiting patiently on the sidelines here. Okay, from our friends at Infinity. Let's see. Infinity's Art Market and Auction is an annual event that supports area artists by giving them a market to showcase and sell their arts, all the while raising funds to support youth music and arts instruction at the Infinity Visual Performing Arts Center. The fundraiser, which is held at the Infinity Arts Cafe, will take place on March 10th this year. It features a market filled with locally crafted items to help showcase local artists, followed by an auction of locally crafted pieces to raise funds for programming at the Infinity Center. More than 20 artists participate each year, and the event continues to grow. Sounds like fun. This year's art auction will feature a chainsaw carving by Vince Luizo and a collection of pottery and ceramic art donated to Infinity by Carol Hay and created by her late husband, Doug Hay. For more information, give Mariah Belendia a call. at 664-0991. Okay, let's see here. Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation. They've got this program called Community Grants Program. All right, so let's see what this is about. The foundation, as you know, considers their home in northern Chautauqua County rather than a geographic region. For this reason, they're always looking for ways to how it can be improved, that region. We look for this is them talking now, not me. They are looking for nonprofit organizations to bring projects for funding that will enhance the area for those who live there. I have to change the words as I go along here. Recently, the Grants Committee updated the Community Grants Program guidelines to not only clarify requirements for funding requests, but also to assure that grant money is used to affect change and for building a healthy and prosperous community. Okay, let's see. For grants, you have to submit it by, I lost the time there. I think it's the first part of March. And if you want more information, give Eileen Ardillo a call at 366-4892. Now, I tell you these things because there's money available, and your organization might be thinking about doing something special, and you may very well be eligible for it. So check it out. That's the Community Grants Program at the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation. Going right along with that, two more announcements from that group. The Dunkirk Area Labor Scholarship, or Labor Council Scholarship. Okay, they're announcing the due date of April 30th for applications to the Dunkirk Area Labor Council Scholarship. This scholarship is available to students currently enrolled in Fredonia, Brockton, Cassadaga, Chautauqua Lake, Dunkirk, Forestville, Fredonia, Pine Valley, Silver Creek, Westfield, and Erie, Bossies, and Angola. And that would include Ripley as well, because Ripley is part of Chautauqua Lake. Graduating students, seniors interested in pursuing an education in the trades or manufacturing technology, such as an electrician, HVAC, pipe fitter, machinist, maintenance, auto technology, and auto body are encouraged to apply. Applications are available through the schools or at the foundation's website at nccfoundation, all one word, .org, / Dunkirk Area Labor Council Scholarship. I'm sure you can find it by just drilling down, or give them a call at 366 again, 4892, 366-4892. Now you might say, why are you talking about April 30th? Okay, I raised 4 kids, and if we don't keep reminding parents and kids about these dates, they just put it off. So sooner the better, but April 30th will be here before you know it. And then they've got their Applebee's Flapjack fundraiser coming up. Okay, they're looking for volunteers to help out on this. This is March 24th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The volunteer hours would be from 7:40 to 10:10. Now, many times our kids are in school, they need volunteer hours. This would be a great opportunity. Breakfast tickets are $6, no charge for volunteers. You get your free breakfast. They have a basket raffle. And tickets are $25 for 10. The fundraiser is vital as it benefits the service learning program that offers many grants to teachers in local school districts for projects that integrate meaningful community service with learning. In addition to the breakfast, there will be a basket raffle, as I mentioned, and the Be a Philanthropist contest. Again, 366-4892. It's the time again of year the Girl Scouts are launching their. Wait a minute, this looks different. This isn't Girl Scout cookie announcement. You guys tricked me. Oh, I got to really read this one. Girl Scout launches a new series of outdoor adventures for girls to take the lead and explore at Girl Scout Summer Camp. Girl Scout Summer Camp registration is now open for all girls grades K through 12. Summer Camp is a great way for girls to explore leadership, build skills, and develop a deep appreciation for nature. Whether for a day, a week, or longer, Girl Scout Camp gives girls an opportunity to grow, explore, and have fun in an all-girl environment under the guidance of caring, trained adults. And it goes on to tell you all about the various places. Camp Timbercrest is in Randolph. And that's the closest one to us right around here. My daughter went there and had a great time years ago. And so if you're interested, talk to your local Girl Scout groups, or you can contact the Girl Scout Council right here in Chautauqua County. So we'll be mentioning it from time to time. But if you are thinking about Girl Scout camp, registration is open. Okay, this is one from Cassock. Build a strong foundation for your children. Your child's first years are so important. Learn how to make the most of them with active parenting. First 5 years. In this program, you'll learn the best ways to nurture your child from birth to pre-K with a just right combination of freedom and nonviolent discipline. Give your kids a strong start. And here's what you're going to learn. What a baby's cry means. Ages and stages of development. Building a strong bond. Your child's growing brain. Using mindfulness to keep your cool. Wish my mother had that one. Effective discipline. Young children can understand choices and consequences. 6 ways to prepare your child for school success, and much, much more. It's a 4 2-hour session parenting group, February 7, 14, 20, 28, and that's from 12 p.m. to 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And it's going to be held at the Mental Health Association at 31 Water Street at the Gateway Center in Jamestown. For more information, give Kathleen Colby a call at Cassock at 664-3608. Next one is a sad one I've got to mention from time to time is opioid addiction and exposure to infants. Free February training offered, for gosh sakes. Friday, February 9th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lunch is provided at the UPMC Chautauqua WCA Auditorium over on Foote Avenue. Brought to you and offered at no charge by the Blackwell Chapel Baby Cafe in conjunction with UPMC Chautauqua WCA and the Chautauqua Alcohol and Substance Abuse Council. For pre-registration, give Kathleen Harrison a call at 708-6399. Pretty sad that we got to talk about those kinds of things. Okay, there was some inquiry a while back about what's going on for President's Day. Okay, I don't have any slides, do I? It's all just talking. Oh, I see a slide coming up. Okay, President's Day weekend is February 16th through the 18th, right here in Lakeside Park, Mayville. The President's Day Winter Festival will take place right down the street along the scenic shores of Chautauqua Lake. The annual winter event that has been taking place since 1987 will feature many winter events and activities for the entire family, contests for children and adults, as well as food and craft vendors. Okay, it's a great weekend to get out. Regardless of what the weather's like, there's always something going on at the festival. Here's just a quick list of things. Let's see, they're going to have a children's snowman animal building contest, children's golf ball race. I have no idea what that could be. Lego building contest, Candy's fishing pond, Kids Corner edible crafts, Rainbow the Clown, cold water rescue demo by the DeWittville Fire Department, horse-drawn rides by Magic Moments Carriages, snowmobile rides, weather permitting, by the Chautauqua Lake Snowmobile Club, Randy Burt, this is yours, the Polar Plunge benefit organized by the Family Health Medical Services, and so on. And there's going to be a flare parade, and a scavenger hunt's going to take place, and it's just all kinds of stuff going on. So if you're interested to know more about what's going on, give them a call at 753-3113 at the Chamber office. And if you're interested in volunteering, once again, give Debbie Marcella a call at 753-3113. So that's coming up, so don't say there's nothing to do. Okay, let's go to slide number 16. Okay, Drake McCain fundraiser. Okay, we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. There's going to be a fundraiser for Drake on February 24th. It's a spaghetti dinner from 2 to 6 p.m. Takeouts are available, $10 for individual, $20 for the family. Tickets available at the door, featuring a Chinese auction, 50-50 raffle, and live music from the Bogarts. It'll be held at the American Legion, right down the road again, at the William L. Travis Post on Erie Street in Mayville. Drake McCain is a 12-year-old Chautauqua Lake student who has recently been diagnosed with leukemia. He is the son of John and Debbie McCain and the youngest of 4 children. He is a 7th grade student that enjoys choir, participating in musicals, and loves Legos. He is currently undergoing treatment at the O'Shea Children's Hospital in Buffalo. Anything you can donate to help Drake and his family with the costs associated with the care would be greatly appreciated. And of course, prayers are always welcome. Monetary donations can be mailed to the Drake McCain Donations at P.O. Box 144, Mayville, New York, 14757. You hang in there, Drake, and hopefully there'll be a great fundraiser to help you out. And last, Kasich has a lot of stuff here today. Usually it's Infinity. Be a thinker, not a drinker poster contest. Okay, basically they're having your annual poster contest, and that's the theme. Be a thinker, not a drinker. Let's see, it's sponsored by the Chautauqua Alcohol and Substance Abuse Council for grades 3 through 12, and you're invited to participate in the contest. I would assume by now the schools know all about this, but we want to remind you, parents, to get after the kids. You know, there's a lot of creative juices out there. There's various categories by age. Grades 3 through 5 is one, 6 through 8 is the second one, and then older group 9 through 12. There's cash prizes, $100, $50, $25, and so on for various levels of prizes. And if you want to know more information about that, give them a call at Kasich. And I gotta go back to a prior announcement here. So give them a call at 664-3608. And posters have to be dropped off by March 16th. So that's coming up pretty quick. I remember doing something like that when I was in school. All right, so we're going to take a breather. We have a great public service announcement for you. This is a little bit longer than usual, so please stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
I know that the money that goes through United Way benefits a lot of companies and businesses in our area.
I know that the donations give back to a lot of people. That's about it, really.
I know that they do a lot of fundraising for a lot of different local communities and everything like that.
So I know that Wegmans supports United Way. I don't really know exactly where the money's going.
I know that it benefits a lot of local charities, but I'm not sure which ones.
I'll be honest, I haven't been exactly to the places. I know United Way cover a lot of stuff.
They take donations and spread them out through places in the community.
Yeah, I've heard them through the endless ads on football games over the years, but
The premise behind Meals on Wheels is providing nourishing meals to individuals who are homebound, elderly, disabled. Number 2 is the communication. We've got individuals we deliver to every day that we are the only people they see every day. And an offshoot of that is the third part of it is emergency services. Say we find somebody in the room, we'll at least call the office to find out what's going on. Sometimes we tell people call 911 right away.
Daycare is designed for people that are working or going to school or both. In the respect that if they're looking for subsidies, they have to be doing one or the other or both. And think about paying for a baby at $200 a week. And so you can understand why the subsidies in the United Way pays for this program, because when you're thinking about your paychecks, even if they were a little bit bigger, it'd be a really big chunk out of it. It makes it affordable. If you're a single mom, you might get a subsidy, and that might be the only thing that helps get you through high school or college or get you working.
It's definitely a home and definitely a secondary, if not like a family for people. Some people don't have any,
and breakfast and lunch here is provided, and so they get to eat and they're not alone. They're with, their friends, as well as the staff that are here.
We don't deny anybody because of inability to pay or anything like that. So we come up with something that, you're comfortable with. And if you can't make it work, then that's where the United Way comes in.
We are a nonprofit that helps people who are in recovery from mental health diagnosis and substance use disorder. We see anywhere between 70 and 120 people a day.
I've had a successful recovery.
Like, I lost everything. They helped me get set up with a job, and that was very nice of them.
But it's got me back in touch with talking to my kids, my older kids, my grandson,
This place has to stay in existence, and it needs everything it can get.
just a really kind of eye-opening experience.
There's people who need services and who, without the help of the organizations supported by United Way, just wouldn't have them.
It really opens your eyes. You see how much this community is brought together by the United Way.
It's not just Jamestown, Faulkner, Frewsburg, Lakewood, it's really all over Western New York.
It's really nice to see these people, you know, where the money goes and benefits, and it just makes you feel good.
It brings smiles to people because they have opportunities that they didn't have before, and it's sad that it comes down to money, but it does, so it's really great that we can be there to help them.
It kind of makes you think twice about when you're putting your donation in and how much you'd like to donate, and maybe it makes you reconsider.
If you actually went and like went on the bus like we did today and like saw all of the things that we saw, you'd really understand why it's so important. Like if you have the ability to give that money, why you should give it, you know.
That was a great PSA, and 10 guesses what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the United Way of Southern Chautauqua County, and my returning guest in a brand new role is Amy Rohler. Good morning, Amy.
It's really great to be here. I'm excited.
Last time I saw you were in a different organization. Now you're with the United Way, right?
I am. So about 3 months ago, I started as the executive director of the United Way of Southern Chautauqua County. And you know, because I've been in the show before, that I was at Community Helping Hands at the Gateway Center. Right. And it's been really great. I have, it's been a change, as you can imagine, because at Community Helping Hands, I was working more directly with people. And this is really more working with organizations and kind of integrating, I think, some of that work. So I miss Community Helping Hands. I miss the work there, but I've been really excited to be at the United Way.
Yeah, it was similar when I left the classroom and then I went into administration.
Exactly, it's very similar.
But you've got all that experience of on boots on the ground, and you know what's needed. So that makes a huge difference when you're the boss.
Well, and I kind of take that experience with me.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important to bring it to that role at the United Way of really being on the ground. And the Gateway Center, where I worked before, was always, it was a very kind of collaborative place. That was something that was always important to me at Community Helping Hands, and generally at the Gateway Center, where we would work with BOCES and Mental Health Association and the Soup Kitchen. And that was what I loved about that work, and so I really took that love of collaboration and collective impact, and that's what drew me to the United Way.
Okay. So. Folks, I want to remind you that this is a live show right now, except for our folks over in Jamestown listening to us on WRFA. You're just listening. But if you do have a question or a comment for myself or Amy or something else, give us a call at 753-5225. So don't be shy, because Amy's got a wealth of information here, and you may want to know more.
I do want to do kind of a shameless plug.
A shameless plug. There's no such thing
Community Helping
here.
Hands.
You just saw me talking about me playing. Talk about shameless.
There's a lot of great stuff going on, but they are having a fundraiser, which is a new thing for them, and that's March 3rd. So hopefully they'll send you an announcement about that, and you can talk about it on your
March
show.
3rd. What is it?
But it is an 80s rewind party and fundraiser. It is March 3rd from 6 to 10 p.m. And it is at Chautauqua Suites, and it's an opportunity.
That's just down the road.
I know. It's an opportunity to dress up in the 80s. So think about your perms, your leg warmers. There's a DJ, there's a photo booth. It's going to be a lot of fun. You should go. So,
how much are tickets?
They are $50 a person. There's also a costume contest. So I think there's a $500 prize
big money.
for the person who has the best costume and the group that has the best costume. So.
All right, well, make sure that they send me the information if you run into them. I'd be happy to talk about that.
I will be
As you
there.
can tell, we'll talk about anything as long as it has something to do with our great county here.
I don't know what I'm wearing, but I'll be there.
So you're going to go. Yeah, we were talking about perming well, I guess at one point, I don't even know what possessed me. I remember it was about 1981, 82, and my wife says, "Wouldn't you like to perm your hair?" And I go, and I look just like the dad from the Brady Bunch when he permed his hair. And I just won't do that again.
You know, I think that when you make that PSA announcement in a couple of weeks, you need to find that picture and show that.
You know, that's a good. I think I do have a picture.
I bet you do. I think that'd be a great little announcement. I think people would like to see that slide.
Thank you, Amy, for that. All right. She's put down the challenge. I have to go dig through the archives.
You know, what you really should do is have your entire staff bring photos from the 80s.
They won't no one will be, people know who I am, but these guys, well, first of all, none of these my camera people were around. They weren't born yet.
No, I know, half of them were
The other
born.
guys had all kinds of hair. Nobody will know them.
I don't even know when your intern was born, but I think it was probably in 2000 or something. I don't know. 2000s.
So, yeah, so it'll be a short series of photos. Actually, people post those pictures all the time on Facebook, so we probably could steal a few of those.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a lot about United Way.
Yeah.
When they were interviewing the students in the very beginning of that little video, it was obvious that they had an idea, kind of. So how about give us the elevator speech? What is United Way?
Well, United Way is, basically we fund programs and agencies here in the community. We raise the funds to do it. Our donors invest in those local programs. Local volunteers make the funding decisions, and then we are the means by which many of these programs, many of which actually in your PSAs, we fund. CASIC and their prevention program, that is a United Way program. There was another one, Girl Scouts. We fund scholarships to their camp. That's a United Way program. And in fact, 100% of every donation that someone makes stays in Chautauqua County.
Do you fund Meals on Wheels?
We fund Meals on Wheels.
Barry's been on the show. Do you help the Children's Safety Village?
No, we do not do the Children's Safety Village.
I think they're eligible though. I think somehow they're part of the system. Last I heard. Well, anyways, that's a good one to look into.
Well, they have to apply.
Oh, they have to apply. All right. No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah,
but I have to do my permed hair. You got to at least look into the Children's Safety Village. Okay. Education Village.
Yeah, and what I really liked about that video is I think that those experiences of those young Wegmans employees is very similar to many of us. That we feel good about the United Way. We know something about it, but we're really not that educated about the sheer number of programs that United Way funds and the good that it does in the community. And that little sort of ending line, your gift matters, that's actually really true. 85 cents of every dollar goes directly into programming.
Okay, so let's take it one step at a time, like I usually do. History. Where did the United Way come from? Everything comes from somewhere, whether it's an idea or it used to be this other organization, came from another country. So where does it come from?
So United Way started in Jamestown 100 years ago as the Jamestown Community Chest. And eventually...
Jamestown Community Chest?
Community Chest, that's what it was called. That was very common, I think.
That's like a Monopoly.
Yeah.
Is there Community Chest? I never put two and two together.
Yeah. Jamestown Community Chest. I think of Monopoly when that's what I think of. So, and then eventually morphed into and became the United Way, a Southern Chautauqua County.
100 years old. 100? Is it exactly 100 years old?
Well, it's actually, I think in 2020 will be 100 years.
So it's almost 100 years old.
But in 1920, started as Jamestown Community Chest. And the idea was really bringing kind of the marketplace and the community together to solve problems that no one organization could solve by themselves. And you think about things like the opioid crisis or affordable housing or self-sufficiency or academic success. Just one organization alone can't tackle those problems. But together, and not just not-for-profits, but also employers and politicians and government agencies, when those all get brought together, we actually can begin to solve those problems.
You use a word very early on. Invest.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. That's an interesting. I mean, I don't want to say everybody's got a hand or looking for a handout because I don't think people are. I think they have a meaningful use for the money that they ask for, but they don't usually say, "Please invest in this. We want a donation, and we'll take it from there." What do you mean by invest?
It's kind of reframing what it means to do charitable giving. There's a lot of us who just do charitable giving because we've always been taught it's the right thing to do. You give back to your community. You help people in need. But I think that if we reframe it as an investment in our community, an investment in the people who maybe are in need of kind of a hand up or extra help, it sort of makes us feel as though we have a part to play in that work. And we're actually getting something back, right? So we're getting a return on our investment. And one of the things that we do at the United Way is we really show you what is your return on your investment. How many kids were involved in tutoring programs? How many, child care subsidies were we able to fund? How many girls got to go to a Girl Scout camp on scholarship? We're showing you, you give this $1, or you give this $1,000 if you're part of our leadership circle, and you are getting a return on your investment, and we are prepared to show you exactly how that works.
So, can anybody be an investor?
Absolutely. Most people, I would say, with the United Way give through their workplaces, and that's what the United Way is known for, their workplace campaigns. And so we go into workplaces and we make a presentation. We usually will bring one of the programs with us. This past year, Mental Health Association, Chautauqua Blind Association, Boys and Girls Club, those are some of the organizations that we would bring with us to show the impact that the funding has in the community and in actual people's lives.
Okay, so I do this from time to time, and I think I did this recently with Pat Brinkman and Annie Rosenthal when they were here talking about Tapestry. So if tomorrow United Way ceased to exist, what would happen?
Well, that would be $1 million that goes to all those programs.
$1 million? That
would be gone.
That's your budget?
Well, we actually just finished our campaign, and our campaign goal this year was $1.325 million. Not only did we meet that goal, but we raised $1,356,000.
Wonderful.
So we had an additional $31,000 of our goal, and we actually had 300 new donors this year, which was, I think, maybe a record in terms of new donors.
Why? Why 300? I mean, that's a big number.
It is a big number. Part of it has to do, our campaign chair was Jane Cleaver Becker.
Oh, sure.
And she's a fantastic woman. She really had a personal touch in that campaign, reaching out to her contacts, her people, and I think individuals who didn't give necessarily through their workplaces, but just gave as an individual. I think that helped a lot. So.
Okay, I'm going to throw something out here right now, all right? I live in Ripley.
Okay.
I'm retired, and I don't think I've received a request for a donation to United Way.
Well, and again, it has to do with our traditional way of fundraising is through workplaces, and so what happens when people retire is we lose connection with them. But I do think that those folks who are retired still want to give,
right,
and possibly even give more, invest more in the community.
So let's do a good thing right now.
Yeah.
All right, so for those who, they're watching right now, and they're retired, they haven't been contacted by United Way, and if they're interested, how would they donate?
I think the easiest way would probably to go to our website.
Okay, what is it?
It is, gosh, sorry.
No,
I was just typing into Google and it comes up automatically on my on my computer. But it's, I believe it's, yes, uwayscc.org. So essentially, if you Google United Way of Southern Chautauqua County, it'll show up on your computer.
Okay.
That's the easiest way right now.
So you do online, get your credit card out, bing, done.
Absolutely. You can send a check to the United Way. Now, we're actually officially done with our campaign, but you can really give to the United Way at any point during the year. And we have a couple of levels. I mean, there are some people who give literally $1 a paycheck, so it's $52 or $26, depending on how they're paid. And we have a lot of donors like that. It really shows you that every little bit counts. But then we also have people who make donations of $1,000 or more. They're in our leadership circle. We have what we call our emerging leaders, and those are those who are under 40 who make a donation, I think, of $500 or more. So there's lots of ways to be involved. And we also have people who don't just donate financially, but they donate their time. And that's actually kind of a critical piece of the United Way, which is those funding decisions that we make are made locally by local volunteers. And we have a panel of about 55 people that make the funding decisions. They review the applications for funding, they hear the presentations, they go to those local organizations to learn more about them, and they make the funding decisions.
I was telling you before we went on the air that myself and Joe Gerasi, we happen to be on the same group, team, whatever it was, panel. I did those reviews, oh gosh, a long time ago. And
it's hard, right?
It's very difficult because there's so much need out there. Exactly. So how do you make decisions on that?
Well, we have sort of a scorecard that we give our allocations panel, and they score the agencies on a number of different kinds of things. We certainly want to know that the agency is it's in a good position financially. It has a good board of directors. They do an annual review of their executive director. Those kinds of sort of administrative.
So you got to kind of do your homework on those organizations.
Oh yeah, and we also have a very thorough application where they tell us how they're going to be evaluating their programs. They have to submit budgets. They actually even tell us the cost per individual or cost per family to run their program. So
we have a phone call.
Great.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I don't know who it is. It might be somebody grumpy. Could be somebody happy. I don't know. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. It's Mike from Portland. Mike Felsman's calling.
Hey, Mike from Portland. What's up?
Well, I'm not grumpy this morning.
Okay, so we have a happy person. All right.
I have a happy. Yes, I'm a happy.
Mike, this is 2 weeks in a row. What's going on?
Well, I hadn't called in for a long time,
Yeah.
and well, I felt a little bad. I didn't, so I thought I would try to call in from time to time.
Okay.
And this particular week, you have a topic that is, well, I mean, your topics are always interesting, but this is a little more interesting to me. Because
it's the mic meter. He measures interest.
Okay. I'm glad I made it onto the meter then.
Yes, Mike.
Okay, I have met Amy and talked to her, but in her role in her last job, but she may or may not remember me.
Okay.
But if I tell her, you had mentioned, Doc, of course, you're retired from full-time work, and a year ago, almost to the day, I retired from full-time work.
I remember.
Yeah. I've got to turn down I'm sorry, I'm getting sound from the phone and the TV. And
the old feedback loop.
They're not in sync. Okay, there.
Mark, how did I meet you before? Remind me.
Okay, well, a couple ways. One, in my job, I worked for the Chautauqua County landfill. I was the accounting supervisor.
Okay.
So I always handled all your billing issues from your former organization.
Yep, we had a lot of trash issues there, as you can imagine.
Well, trash is forever. If you don't believe it, don't put your trash out for a couple weeks, and you'll believe it.
That's right.
Anyways, and then I did meet you through one of your youth programs at the Gateway Center. I'm friends with Ian Eastman, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Ian.
Yep.
I know Ian.
Okay, but anyways, the reason I was calling today, and I was going to call and ask the same question, and you covered it when Doc mentioned being retired, because I was involved in my job. I was sort of for many of the years I worked there, sort of the point person for the United Way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So,
kind of like the cheerleader, huh?
Well, I tried. I would try to be. And I'd pass out cards and get cards back, and that was our methodology in the county, at least when I worked there, and I think it's still that way.
Yes, it is.
To try to get annual pledges, and you're right. A lot of them would be, and even myself were in the $1, $2, whatever.
Yeah, what you can afford, sure.
$4 range. But I heard you start to talk, and I thought, even before Doc said it, it's like, wait a minute, I'm retired. I don't have payroll deduction anymore, like that. So I just wanted to say that I'm glad Doc mentioned it, and I guess I'll have to go to the website.
There you go.
Or just send a check too, if that's the easiest thing for you. I think that it really kind of confirms that it's a growing edge for us at the United Way, that we're kind of missing a huge piece of charitable contributions to not find some way to reach out to those folks who have been giving to the United Way and are maybe even passionate about
What's your mailing address?
Our mailing address is, see, this is the problem with being new, is it doesn't roll off the tongue. It is 519 North Main Street.
Okay.
North Main Street. And again, the mailing address is on the website as well.
Okay, great.
And I actually think we're missing both the retired population and the youth as well, because you've got... Go ahead.
You might want to mention Jamestown in the address.
Thank you. Jamestown, New York.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, in
All right.
Jamestown, New York. And I'll also mention there is a United Way of Northern Chautauqua County too, because I know we're in Mayville, and you really draw on both parts of the county.
Right down the line, yeah.
And they also do tremendous good in the northern part of the county. So if you live in the northern part of the county, you can donate to them.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it still going through the Jamestown address?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, they have their own address and
They're in Dunkirk,
staff.
I believe.
Dunkirk, yes.
Okay, if you don't know it off the top of your head, I'm sure it's on your website.
Right.
Because I live in the northern end of the county. I live in the Brockton School District. I live in Portland.
Yes.
So I always did give to the northern Chautauqua.
Okay.
Even through work. All right. Well, thank you, Doc. I'll leave you now.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks
All
for
right.
your call.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay, enjoy the day.
All right. You too. Bye now.
Bye. So anyways, yeah, so when I was in school, there was always the check the box on your payroll stub first day of the new school year, and United Way, how many dollars you want to send. So
Well, and the education sector is also a great support of the United Way. That's one of our strongest sectors, I would say. I mean, there's 18 school districts in the county, maybe even just, I think it is the whole county, 18 school districts.
You're right.
And a lot of teachers and a lot of staff and a lot of administrators, and it's a great support for
But
United
that's
Way.
something to think about is looking for those folks that are retired now. We don't have that check off the thing, or maybe some kind of promotion, or just keep reminding me and I'll keep talking about it. So let's talk about that just for a brief second. There's two United Ways. How's come? Why isn't there one? I mean, I know that probably there's a history to it, but does it?
There's probably a history to it that I am not familiar with yet, but part of it is that sometimes the northern and the southern counties do feel like two different cultures. I think that does happen. And when you think about being like an employer or somebody who lives, you know, in an area, you want to invest in the programming in your area.
So they feel a little bit more parochial in their area.
And so it's like, you know, I want to know that my dollars are going to the Boys and Girls Club in my community, or my dollars are going to the YWCA in the northern county.
But yet you have programs like Meals on Wheels. It's countywide, right?
Yeah.
So now, does the Northern support the Meals on Wheels as well?
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So, anyways, but that's what I'm saying is you gotta have the research which one maybe you want to
Well,
support.
and it's kind of a both-and thing. I mean, certainly supporting the Meals on Wheels, which does cover the entire county, is going to ultimately benefit Northern County.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is, I mean,
it's
no
not
matter
like
what
you have to choose, because
Yeah.
sometimes it really is going countywide.
I got a second phone call. We haven't had two phone calls in a long time. So, good morning, caller.
We should have had United Way a long time ago.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, Pastor Amy. This is Linda Spalding.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? It's so good to see you on the show.
Oh, I know. It's nice to hear your voice. I hope things are going well. Obviously, the aging.
Would you like to?
I know.
I can leave.
We're just going to go have
studio,
coffee.
Too funny. You crack me up, Linda.
Well, I have to tell you, Pastor Amy did a phenomenal job over at Community Helping Hands.
Oh,
that
thank
is
you.
the most. It is just such a center that serves all the needs of every kind of population who want to come for services. You just wouldn't believe it. Have you been in there, Doc?
I've been in St. Susan's part, and I think I did a little bit of where you had the Christmas stuff one day.
Yeah.
I think I was there.
There's always something there for someone. Well, thank you very much for that, Linda. I really appreciate it.
You have to go through there. There's a youth cafe, right? Or a cafe?
Yep, there's a youth and family center there with an indoor skate park. There's laser
I've seen
tag.
pictures and things of that.
And actually, the baby cafe, which you mentioned in your PSA, that is also located at the Gateway Center as well, the Blackwell Chapel Baby
But now
Cafe.
she's with United Way. You think she can continue the?
Oh, she's going to do a wonderful job with the United Way.
Wow, there's an endorsement.
Thank
And we already have an agreement, Pastor Amy, with United Way. So.
Well, good. What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Huh?
We have a host agency agreement where we can place people.
Oh, well, that is good to know.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't know that. So.
Like what kind of positions?
Well, these are the subsidized positions that we have the training to work, and they're supposed to go to what we call a host agency, which is either a not-for-profit or government site. But before we can put people there, we have to have a legal, it's just a 3-page document with an agreement stating what needs to be done, and then the names of, the contact people, and then it's signed by Mary Ann, who's the director of our Department of Aging.
Well, Office of the Aging does a wonderful senior aid program where they pay seniors 20 hours a week to work at these various not-for-profit and government agencies.
Did the two of you talk before the show? I mean, it's
But it really is a wonderful program because, as you know, sometimes when you are 55 and older, it's very challenging to find work if you're out of work.
Right.
And even though employers are not supposed to be discriminating, they often do. And this is an opportunity for them not only to work but expand their skills too. So it's really a wonderful program. I think, I don't know, senior aides are kind of in high demand. I know not-for-profits love having this sort of additional paid staff, often who are fairly, pretty talented
and mature,
and mature,
and generally aren't into raising babies.
Right, exactly.
And they show up for work on time to get the work done.
They're fantastic. So it's a fantastic program, and I know there's many not-for-profits that have really benefited by that senior aid program.
So
but I didn't know the United Way could be one of them. So thank you, Linda.
Yeah, that's not-for-profit. Well, it's great to see you on the show, and thank you for all the wonderful things that you've given to the community. People are just so dedicated to your philosophy of serving.
Well, thank you, Linda. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention that we are looking to put people on our program, and we do have job orders with our senior employment program. Our senior computer training is still going on at the Westfield Patterson Library and also at the Brockton Ahira Library. This is one-to-one wonderful training, and they will help you with resumes to update if you're interested in that sort of thing. It is free to anybody in the area.
And the phone number is?
Yeah, the number is, for the Office for the Aging in Mayville, 753-4471. And, of course, there are other services besides the senior employment program.
And folks can check you out on Facebook as well. And I see just about every day there's something new on that Facebook page, so that's terrific.
Well, we had our picture taken yesterday. For
Yes, you were all in red. I saw that.
Yeah,
I keep track of you guys.
Awareness of heart disease and taking care of your circulatory system.
That's terrific.
Well, and Linda, while you're on the phone and we're talking about seniors, one United Way program that I know a lot of seniors take advantage of is the VITA program. That's the Voluntary Income Tax Assistance, which is going on right now.
Oh, you were mentioning that. VITA program?
And basically it is free. You have to be eligible, but I think you have to make less than $72,000 a year. So a lot of people are eligible.
Yeah.
And you can have someone prepare your taxes for free. And it's been a great resource in the community for seniors, for anyone who's low income, to get your taxes done. And sometimes people get a lot of money back because they didn't realize that there were deductions that they were qualified for. So if people are interested in signing up for that, call 211 and they will get you an appointment. I think most of the appointments in at least southern Chautauqua County are at the Prendergast Library, and someone will sit down, prepare your taxes, file them for you, and you will be done, and you don't have to pay at all for it.
Federal and state?
Federal and state, everything. It's a great program.
Thank you very much. I will refer people to that.
And Linda, if you want to pick up brochures or you need somebody to drop them off so that you have a lot of brochures for it, I'm sure we can make that happen in our office staff.
Oh, thank you again.
Now, Linda, every week she calls in, and every week I get her business of some sort. Am I right or wrong?
You do.
I'm like the matchmaker here.
He is, and he's also a job developer for the program.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Great.
It's all about networking and just talking, isn't it? Just finding out about each other. So that's cool. All right, Lynn. We'll have a great weekend. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Have a great weekend and a great week.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Well, I mean, it makes you realize there's so many resources in our community that people aren't aware of. I mean, I think that this VITA program is one of them.
So VITA is just at the Prendergast, or is it any other location?
There's several other locations, too. There's a few at the schools. I think there's some in the northern county as well. So just 211, and
so
they'll set
you pick up your phone and just dial 211?
211. And again, that's another resource.
Who are they talking to?
This is actually run by the United Way.
211?
211. And basically, it's a grant that we get from the state. So it's United Way of the entire New York State that essentially funds this. But you call 211 with any kind of need, whether it is for food or housing.
Oh, it's like a one-stop.
Yes. Like, so you think about if you were calling information, like, we used to call information, you get someone's number. It's the same idea, and you tell them what you need, and they connect you to the resources in that community.
211.
211.
I put that right down next to WRFA's information here, because we should be talking about that like all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times do you have people say, gosh, I need this, but I don't know where to get help? the first thing they should do is call 211 and see if there's an operator that will answer the phone call and connect them, give them all the information they need for those services. So.
Well, that's terrific. All right, so we're down to 4 minutes here.
Oh my.
We're flying through this. So how many different organizations, agencies do you fund?
We fund 25 agencies and 41 programs. So some agencies have multiple programs that we fund. For example, the YMCA. We fund several programs for the YMCA, for the YWCA, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, American Red Cross, their disaster services, after-school programming, Striders, mentoring, and tutoring. All of our funding falls into 4 categories. It is academic success, health and independence, ready workforce, and self-sufficiency.
Now, are those your 4 pillars that you kind of stick to, and if you don't fit within those areas,
exactly,
there's somebody else to talk to?
And that's where we feel is sort of, it does the greatest amount of good with the highest need, and in those 4 areas. So.
Okay, so I wrote a word up here at the top of my notes, match. So when someone gives $50, is it matched by anyone, or is it just $50?
It's just $50.
Okay.
Yeah, there isn't necessarily a match that goes with it.
Now, do you invest the money throughout the year? You know, like in some type of, do you grow the money, or is it you get $1 million and the $1 million goes out the door to help people?
Pretty much, it's $1 million goes out the door.
Okay.
To help people.
So you're not sitting on the money.
No, and you know, sometimes people have had this idea that United Way sends money to some office in Chicago. We don't. 100% of every donation stays here locally. And 85 cents of every dollar goes directly to programming.
So people are saying, well, 85 cents, where's the other 15%? Well, you got to pay for the office and the lights and all, and 85 cents on a dollar is pretty high. I mean, if you go out and you check out, and there's websites that tell you, they rate different organizations by how much money goes.
And we've actually been rated by GuideStar, which is...
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, GuideStar.
And they give us the highest rating at United Way. Of Southern Chautauqua County, not just United Way worldwide, but actually our United Way at Southern Chautauqua County.
Okay, that's terrific. I'm going to let you just kind of pick whatever you want to talk about right now, because there's just so much to cover. We'll just have to come at this another time. But are there any new programs that you're looking at, or any high needs that you're thinking that you need to focus on in the next year or two?
I think 2 things I'd want to highlight. One is Mental Health Association. That's a program that we started funding 2 years ago, and they're peer specialists. So they do recovery programs for those who have a substance abuse problem. And they found that one of the most effective ways to help someone is with a peer specialist, someone who has been through it before.
You know, we're doing the same thing, or not we. We've been talking about the same thing with the Veterans Administration, Veteran Support Services, the advocacies, all those guys, Greg Carlson and his group at the county, about peers and things like that. So
that's been a very it's called recovery coaching is what they do. And with the opioid crisis being what it is, I think that's something that's really critical that we want to focus a lot of dollars on. The second thing, which is a new program that has applied this year but meets a huge need in our community, and that's the UCAN City Mission.
They're going to be on.
Fantastic.
I got them. Quattrone,
Very
right?
good. Yep, Jim Quattrone.
Scott Robert and okay.
So that recently reopened, and not only is it a homeless shelter, an emergency shelter for men, but they do a lot of work in self-sufficiency and getting someone to go from unstable to stable to flourishing. And I would want to highlight the work that they do.
Okay, super. We're down to half a minute.
Okay.
So how about whatever you want to tell folks about United Way of Southern Chautauqua County?
I think what I would say is that what we do the best is collective impact. And I don't know if that's a familiar term to most people, but essentially, like each of these programs, you could fund on their own, but there's something that happens that's a kind of more than the sum of their parts situation, that with the United Way, we are looking for integrated impact solutions to things.
Teaming up?
Yep, teaming up, seeing where the gaps are, seeing where agencies and programs can be working together or dovetailing. And if you don't have someone kind of overseeing that initiative, I'm not sure that it always happens. The work of collective impact is hard.
Okay. Folks, you've been listening to Amy Rohler, the new Executive Director of United Way. You will be old here soon. You'll be the veteran soon. And we've been talking about all the services for United Way. So if you haven't donated or you're interested in knowing more, check out their website. I'm Doc Hamels, and I appreciate you joining us today. And we're going to do this all again next Saturday morning right here on Access 5 at 9 a.m. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful week. And for those in Jamestown, take care, and you have a great day as well. Bye now.